السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم معانا اليوم الموافق 21 مايو 2020 في الويبينار الثاني لهذا العام. الحقيقة أنا بشكر حضراتكم على تواجدكم معانا، وأتمنى لحضراتكم الصحة والسلامة والحفاظ على الصحة العامة الخاصة بحضراتكم، وتمنياتنا القلبية ليكم بكل خير. الحقيقة أنا أرجو أن في هناك بعض الإرشادات العامة أرجو أن احنا جميعا نلتزم بها للحفاظ على جودة إخراج هذا الويبينار بالجودة المطلوبة. أطلب من حضراتكم قفل الكاميرات الخاصة بحضراتكم مباشرة حفاظا على الجودة كما ذكرت، وأيضا أحب أن أنوه إلى أن هناك ترجمة إلى اللغة العربية متوفرة على هذا الويبينار، فهناك اختيارين هتلاقيهم موجودين في الايكون الخاص بالانتربريتيشن. الاختيار الأول وهو الإنجليزية، وهذا إذا أردتم أن تستمعوا مباشرة إلى خبيرنا النهارده باللغة الإنجليزية، أو اختيار اللغة الصينية، والصينية لن تترجم إلى الصينية ولكن هي إلى العربية، ولكن للأسف لا يوجد لفظ العربية على هذا التطبيق، وبالتالي فالضغط على الصينية سنستمع مباشرة إلى المترجمة وهي تترجم إلى اللغة العربية. أرجو الاهتمام بهذه الإرشادات العامة حتى نستمع جيدا ونستفيد من هذا الويبينار النهارده إن شاء الله. الحقيقة أحب أن أنا أنقل تحيات وسلام دكتور ناصر القحطاني، وهو مدير عام المنظمة العربية للتنمية الإدارية، وتمنياته القلبية لحضراتكم جميعا بالاستفادة من هذا الويبينار النهارده. كمان أنقل لحضراتكم تحيات مجلس أمناء الشبكة العربية للتواصل والعلاقات العامة، وكمان أحب أن أنا أنوه أنه كلنا حاولنا ان احنا نجتهد لاخراج هذا الويبينار بالشكل اللائق. اشكر زملائي فريق عمل المنظمه العربيه للتنميه الاداريه والشبكه على هذا الجهد المبذول اليوم. خليني اتكلم مع حضراتكم ان احنا حاولنا منذ بدايه الازمه ان نبقى على تواصل مع حضراتكم دائم، ولذلك عقدنا اكتر ويبينار قبل كده من حوالي شهر، ومن خلال ويبينار النهارده حبينا نبقى على تواصل دائم مع حضراتكم في هذه الازمه التي الحقيقه بتؤثر علينا جميعا وتعصف بحياتنا اليوميه والمهنيه والصحيه والاجتماعيه والاقتصاديه بشكل كبير. والحقيقه الويبينار النهارده هو استكمال للويبينار السابق اللي احنا اتكلمنا فيه من شهر، والحقيقه ده من خلال هدف الشبكه العربيه للتواصل والعلاقات العامه. والشبكه الحقيقه هي مهتمه بجمع جميع المهنيين والمتخصصين في مجال العلاقات العامه والتواصل في الوطن العربي. والحقيقه انه الشبكة بتقدم خدماتها للأفراد والمؤسسات المعنيين بالعلاقات العامة والتواصل في الوطن العربي. خدمات يعني مختلفة الشبكة بتهتم بيها، منها تقديم الاستشارات، تقديم البرامج التدريبية، تقديم المؤتمرات، إصدار بعض النشرات، أيضا العمل على بعض الدراسات، إصدار بعض التقارير، وايضا الحاجه المهمه جدا هو الاستفاده من تواجد حضراتكم في هذه الشبكه من خلال نشر الكتب الخاصه بيكم، نشر الافكار، نشر الابحاث من خلال قاعده خبراء اعتقد هتكون من القواعد الخبراء المهمه والمتخصصه وايضا الموثوق بها في الوطن العربي. كل ده من أهداف الشبكة، ولكن يبقى الهدف الأهم وهو التواصل مع حضراتكم دائما في وقت الأزمات. الويبينار السابق احنا تناولنا وجهة النظر العربية والإقليمية في أزمة كوفيد-19. أخذنا هذه الاتجاه وناقشناه واتكلمنا عن كيف أثرت الأزمة على قنوات التواصل بين الجمهور وبين المستفيد، بين الوزارات وبين مقدمي الخدمه، بيننا احنا على مستوى الافراد. هنستكمل النهارده ان شاء الله الويبينار الثاني وهنعرض وجهه النظر الدوليه حتى يكون تكتمل الصوره عندنا كلنا بشكل كبير. وجهه النظر الدوليه دي ان شاء الله النهارده يعني هنستعرضها من خلال استضافه خبيرنا استاذ كريستوف جينستي، وهو خبير التواصل الدولي وخبير إدارة الأزمات الدولية، وهو أيضا كان يرأس الرئيس الأسبق للجمعية العربية الجمعية الدولية للعلاقات العامة IPRA. والحقيقة كريستوف بنرتبط بيه بعلاقات عمل قوية، الحقيقة اشتغلنا مع بعض في أكثر من ايفنت وفي أكثر من مشروع، والحقيقة كان من المباركين لفكرة إنشاء الشبكة العربية للتواصل والعلاقات العامة، وحضر أيضا فكرة تكوينها عام 2014. أهلا بيك كريستوف معانا النهاردة من بروكسل، وخليني الحقيقة أبدأ على طول سؤالي لحضرتك النهاردة. ما هي رؤيتك لمستقبل العلاقات العامة والتواصل بعد الكورونا؟ تفضل كريستوف.
Thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very honored to be with you today. I'm very honored to be invited as a speaker for this webinar, and it's really my honor to share some information and some thoughts with you, and to have this discussion today about the future of communication after the crisis, after the COVID-19 crisis. So if you allow me, I will go through different points that I wanted to share with you, and obviously we'll open the floor to questions because I guess that you have a lot of questions to ask. So I would like first of all to give you some insight about what we're living today, and I would like first to everybody to understand what is communication about. What is communication about is very important, because if we are thinking about the future of communication, we have to think first about what is the purpose of communication. Communication, in my opinion, is mainly one thing. Communication is a promise that you make to the audience. The promise of buying this, you will feel better. Get this, you will have fun. Wear this clothes, you will look amazing. Invest here in this property and you will get richer. There's always a promise in every communication act. And what does this promise, how does this promise work? Why does it have eventually an impact? It has an impact, your communication activities have an impact when you match two things. The first thing that you meet is the hope of people, the promise, the hope that the promise will be kept. And the second thing that works is the trust. How your organization will be able to meet the promise. So in every communication act, you have to understand that there's a promise behind that resonates with people's hope and people trust. If you don't have the hope, if you don't have the trust, you cannot succeed in conducting communications activities. So that's very important. So let's see what has happened with this COVID crisis. The world has stopped in many countries or has gone down big time. People's attention is 100% focused on one thing, the virus. And what do people hope now? In this period, in this very challenging period, what is the hope of people? Is it to get richer? Is it to look amazing? Is it to have fun? No. They just want to survive and have their friends and family alive. This is the main hope that people have during this crisis, because every day on television, every day on radio, on the newspaper, they get the news of millions of people suffering from this virus. They get the news of thousands of people dying all around the world. So their hope is not to have fun and to travel somewhere. Their main hope is, first of all, to stay alive and to be healthy in a way, together with their family. So if you continue to communicate in those times, by asking people to buy something or asking people to get something, they do not notice your message anymore because it's too confusing for them. And it's not anymore their top priority to get the product or the service that you want to give them, right? The hope is damaged in the audience. And because in fact, people have just changed their criteria, and the things that they hope primary is not to buy something that you want to sell them. The primary hope is to stay alive. So what about trust? There's something very important that is happening in our societies regarding trust. Is the notion of social distancing. We all heard about social distancing. You need to stay away from other people. You do not need to, you must not touch each other or be close to each other, etc. What does it mean, social distancing? It is creating an unprecedented drama. People don't trust each other. Your neighbor can carry the virus. The people you meet in the streets can carry the virus. The shop downstairs can be infected. And you cannot socialize anymore. And when you think of it, and if some of you are still going to work and commuting, going to the metro, going to the shops when they are open, probably you have experienced this yourself. You look at the other ones and you say, oh my God, I shouldn't be too close to this person. So there's a phenomenon of distrust that is growing in our society because we fear about getting the virus. And because governments, it's not because we don't want to connect again with people, because governments have told us not to trust each other anymore by being far from each other. You cannot trust even kids. You know, doctors will tell you that kids are not suffering too much about the crisis, about the COVID. But in fact, the doctors are telling us at the same time that they can carry the virus without suffering from it. So even your kids, you know, it's suspicious. The people you meet in the street, the people you meet all around, there's a suspicious mind that are on top of each head. And this, to me, is a fundamental game changer, fundamental in society. And I believe, I frankly believe that we are entering a new era. Two key pillars of communication are impacted like never before. Hope, the trust, the hope. The COVID crisis has changed the prism of billions of people all around the world regarding what they hope for. Trust. The COVID crisis is calling billions of people to be more careful than before, more careful than ever, and to protect themselves from others. And more, I would even say that social distancing, when you think of it, is fundamentally contrary to human nature. We have built societies on socialization. And when at one point you're obliged to put distance in socialization or to even stop socializing with people, it's a fundamental change. And it's a drama for many people because it's contrary to human nature. So what will be next? I'm sorry, I don't want to depress you. I don't want to be too negative and too dark, but this is really what I believe. And this is really what I think. So let's look at the future. What's next? How will you be able, as PR professionals, communication professionals, business leaders, to handle this crisis on hope and trust? First of all, my recommendation would be that you need to be very, very pragmatic, very pragmatic. Do not expect you will come back to business as usual when the virus will have disappeared. I don't think so. Some of my friends are telling me, you're wrong. Once the crisis will be over, people will go to the streets, we'll go again to nightclubs, we'll travel like crazy, we'll buy a lot of things and dresses and wear, etc. I don't believe it. Maybe, but I personally do not believe this, right? I believe that it will never will never come back to business as usual. It was more than just a pause in our society, in our history. I believe it was a game changer. I believe it was a tipping point. So be very pragmatic about this. My assumption, my intuition is that this has changed people's mind. And if you look at what we do ourselves, communication professionals, I believe that something very, very not funny, but very interesting has happened. Because if you're a communication professional, you want people to buy things, you want people to buy services, you have something to sell, you have something to convince, etc., etc. What has happened during this crisis, is that people have learned how to live without your product. In many cases, that's the reality, you know? Can you live without buying a new dress? Yes. Can you enjoy great moments without traveling abroad? Yes. Can you work without going to the office? Yes, of course. Can you socialize without going to a nightclub or to a party? Yes, of course. And can you eat without going to the restaurant? Yes. So, of course, it was better. Probably, I don't know if you are a great cooker or a great chef, but maybe it's better to go to the restaurant, the food will be better. But can you eat without going to the restaurant? Yes. So what is amazing in terms of marketing and communication is that this crisis have told people how to live without your product, how to live without buying like crazy, how to live without traveling, how to live without socializing. Okay, it's a challenging situation, but it's not an impossible situation. And people are dealing with that very easily. And it's crazy because we have built our society on the promise that they will need something every day. You know, a new car, a new dress, a new travel, a new project, a new, I don't know, right? Okay, they might need this again, but they have experienced over the last months how to live without. And this is an incredible game changer if you think marketing and communication. So the main thing that you have to do for the future, and this is the first advice I would give you as a public relation and communication professional. Understand the new hope. And try to understand first, before going back to business, before going to communicate like before, try first to understand what do people want now? What has changed in their mind? You know, understand what they want, understand how they want it. Just to pick an example, you know, people, because they were not allowed to go down shopping in big shopping malls, etc. What most of them have continued shopping online. Maybe when the big shopping malls will open again, they will want to go to the shopping mall again. Or maybe they will say, oh, it was cool to buy my stuff online. It was maybe cheaper. It was less traffic, less pollution. It was easy. And it was a delivery was coming to my door the next day. So it was fun. So maybe it has changed the way how people want to buy things or how people want to consume things. And then when you understand the hope, when you understand what people want, you will try to understand the benefit they want to get from it. Okay? So understanding again, calibrating again, or trying to set the new dimension of the desire, of the hope of people will be a fundamental move for you as communication professionals. and marketing professionals. Because my belief is that if you're coming back to the market, like communicating like before, you may be you may be just on another way, a side of what people really want now. So you have to try to make your work on understanding what do people want now and how has it changed in societies. The second thing that you have to do, in my opinion, is because there's a big challenge of trust, is to do more to be trusted again. You will have to do more. I believe that this is a fundamental change as well. You will have to do much more to be trusted. You will have to provide evidence, reasons why you deserve to be trusted. Because there's a massive distrust throughout societies, and this crisis, as you know, has been the period of massive distrust regarding each other. So communicate on your purpose. It's very important. Communicate on your values. Be more transparent than ever. Communicate on facts. Become more accessible in the conversation. Engage much more on social media than before, right? And last but not least, design the new world of communication. Because this is really up to you to say, okay, the new rules will be the following ones. So we will engage together with our consumer on those new rules. And I'm happy as a marketing professional, or communication professional, to play with those new rules, because I believe that the rules will be different. So these are the main points I wanted to make, and I'm happy to take any of your questions now, and any of your comments. If you do not agree with me, that could be totally possible, and I would not blame you for not agreeing with me. But what I really wanted to share with you is my strong belief that we will all have to reinvent the communication and the marketing in the future.